We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to Gray Lives on the Rise. Gray Lives on the Rise. Okay. I am Professor Jamila Franklin. I am the CEO and founder of Great Lives on the Rise, which is a fabulous global, multi-racial, geographical, if that's a word, I'm making it up. But anyway, there are people from all over the world who are my guest speakers and who are part of this wonderful, wonderful community. Great Lives on the Rise was started about 2 years ago, and I was walking and I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm having a good walk. But then this download came from above, and it said, there's nothing that speaks to your demographic. And I said, yeah, that's true, except in America, AARP, which is the Association for Retired Persons, and I am not retired. I'm retired from one career, but I'm still very active in two other careers. And most of my friends are very active. So I said, that doesn't apply to me. And then Medicare. I'm vegan. I have no health issues, none. High blood pressure, none. I don't have any of that. So I said, okay, that doesn't apply to me. So there's something in the middle. And then I said, okay, let me think of it. And then the word Gray Lives Matter came to me. I said, no, that's overused. Gray Lives on the Rise came. And I said, I like that. Lives rhymes with rise. And it was really, really a good energy with it. So then what I did is I was passing around to my friends, and they said, oh, we like that. Then the second thing is relanguaging, because people who are 50 plus, and when they're 49, everyone can relate to them, say, yeah, you're vibrant. When you turn it 50, people all of a sudden start looking at you in a very interesting way. Sometimes they become very dismissive. They start becoming arrogant towards you, and just not kind. So all of my friends were saying, yeah, they noticed that, particularly if you go to see the doctor or any professional, they just start talking to you as if you don't have a brain in your head. Now, you're a business owner, but they start being very arrogant, very dismissive. So I said, let me pull together people of like minds who are having the same experience. In my talking to people, regardless of their country of origin, they all were saying the same thing. So I said, okay. Then I came up with adjectives rather than saying that we're old or elderly or senior or any of those things, because those are pejorative, negative terms. I said, we are seasoned, we are vibrant, we are alive, and we're mature and we're golden. And people are like, yeah, I like that. I said, yeah, that's who we are. And then the other part that came up was like, you need to think about your brand, and you need to have merchandise to reinforce the idea. And I came up with this Gray Lives on the Rise. So we have t-shirts. And Jocelyn, you see her beautiful mug? You see her mug?
Yes, there's my mug.
Yeah. So we have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have all of those kinds of things in our store. And I'm a certified aromatherapist, a certified Reiki master, a certified metaphysician, a college professor of psychology, And I am also a holistic uh, practitioner in terms of energy work. I do everything with energy. I haven't done the introduction of me and the infomercial. I want to tell you about lovely Jocelyn. Jocelyn is an intuitive guide, a tarot mentor and soulful teacher who blends decades of personal development, spiritual insight, and real life experience to help modern women reconnect with their inner wisdom. Through her signature programs, live readings, and empowering community, she makes tarot practical, transformative, and fun. Whether you're just picking up your first deck or deepening your intuitive gifts, Jocelyn's approach is honest, inspiring, and a little bit witchy, offering grounded guidance for growth, clarity, and self-love. And she always leaves her clients with this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful energy of wishing you all the magic and manifesting power. Thank you, beloved. And Jocelyn is now living in Canada.
Yeah, I live in Nova Scotia, Canada.
In Nova Scotia.
Yes.
So I'm so happy to have Jocelyn here. I've had um, other people from Canada as well. Like I said, we're a global, global community and we're growing and growing. So Jocelyn, I am so excited about having you here and talking about your wonderful gifts in terms of helping people, particularly now, this world is just so upside down and interesting.
I
And
know.
people now are very, very distraught, but particularly here in America. America is
I
like, it's like
well,
craziness on steroids. It's like
well, we
craziness on
are here in
steroids.
Canada too, because we're like your cousins, right? Like we're
Yeah,
family, and really our feelings are a little hurt. And we're
yeah,
worried about you guys, right? Like we're so
yeah,
worried
yeah,
about what's
yeah,
gonna happen. And yes, so much chaos. But I think there's a reason for the chaos. And I
yeah.
think we see that. And I think we're coming into a spiritual awakening. So when people
Yes,
thinks that,
yes,
when they think that happens, they think it's like, oh, beautiful, I'm all sunny. And it's not. It is terrible before, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the author Robin Sharma, but he says change is hard in the beginning, so we're doing the
yes,
hard, chaotic and messy in the middle, so we're like there, and then beautiful in the end. And
yeah,
so that's where I think we are as a world right now. We're going to come into the beautiful end. I don't know how long it's going to take.
yeah.
But I do really feel we're coming into changes in society, and that's why everything is so tense right now.
And that's so comforting to hear,
Yeah.
particularly in this country, because you guys, you are our cousins and you're getting the residual effects of what's going on in this country. But the people who are going through it, I mean, it's just like, it's heartbreaking to see people just not giving notice and removed from
Yeah.
their jobs and with no
And
safety net and the food banks. I mean, everything is looking very, very interesting. But what you're saying is so true because before major transformation can take place, you have to uproot all the stuff that made you sick. And like when you detox your body, what happens is the
yeah,
body,
yeah, you're shedding.
yeah, and you feel very, very sick and it looks bad, it tastes bad, and it feels bad. But then once you go through it and once you really stick to it and stay committed to the process, the end result is usually very, very, very rewarding. But in the middle, like you said, we're in the middle of this stuff and it doesn't feel good, it doesn't look good, it doesn't smell good, it doesn't taste good. So
Scary.
to have, it's scary, but to have you, someone who is an excellent intuitive reader, give us the total perspective
Yeah.
about it. Because when you're in the middle of a storm, you can't see that there's land on the outside, but you're on the outside of it, being in Canada, so you can see that this too shall pass. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and it does. You have to look at history too. There's been
yeah,
other traumatic periods, right? And it has
yeah,
passed. And I'm just sorry it's happening in the United States right now. Do you know what I mean? Like we
yeah,
love traveling to you guys. We love all your culture and yeah, that's just it's not going to happen right now. But I think if we can keep our blinders on and stay positive as we can. Now, I know
mm,
people go into a food bank and they don't have their Medicaid and they don't have, their job anymore. It's really hard to stay positive. But
mm,
if you can have an attitude of gratitude, like
mm-hmm,
be thankful that you have the food bank to go to, right? I have,
yeah,
I've been in that position a long time ago and I know that is so hard to do, but
yeah,
we have to let go of that shame too, right? You need to do the best for
yeah,
you right now, no matter what that looks like. And when we can have an attitude of gratitude, things can change. So you need to like
yeah,
look for the little glimmers of gratitude every day.
yeah. I think that's so important, Jocelyn. And it's really challenging because people, when they're in the middle of it, because I've been in the middle of some storms and people are like, stay positive. Just
Mm,
know that the creator is with you and whatever. You're like, I can't do that right now.
yeah.
I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of my
Yeah.
pain.
I
I just
know.
can't.
I know.
And, and people would tell you, I can't be positive in this moment. And I'm like, yeah, I truly understand. I'm on the bank and you're in the middle of the
Yeah.
storm and I'm letting you know that there is land. You're almost close
Yeah.
to the land.
Yeah.
So just holding the space for people as they go through troubled waters, I think is really important.
But too, if we like change our habits a little bit and
Mm,
listening to all of that, because that is a rabbit hole you can go down, right?
yeah,
And we start listening to positive things. We start
yeah,
listening to things that are funny and make us laugh.
yeah,
And we learn, like, I think we need to learn to speak out too. Like, we have all had hard times, but people don't speak about those, right? And we've
yeah,
all had everybody's had financial times that are hard. Like,
yeah,
and we put so much shame on that like let go of that. Start talking about it. Be the brave one in your friend circle and say, life sucks
yeah,
right now and I could use a coffee, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
because
think
oftentimes I think we keep it in and that makes it much worse.
I think it's true because when you're an island, you think that you're the only one going through it because you're too embarrassed or too
Yeah.
ashamed to talk about it. And then you suffer in silence. And so many people cross over from heart attacks,
Mm.
brain aneurysms, strokes, and whatever because they kept it all inside. They kept it bottled up. And I think what you're saying is so important that we now it's imperative that we come together and support one another through this. And maybe that's what the universe is saying. Okay, you guys have become so insular, you've become so isolated, and we're bringing things now to bring you together as a community, as opposed to, well, that doesn't bother me because that's down the street. That doesn't bother me because that's in another country. Now everyone is feeling it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's one of the purposes
Maybe. Maybe.
of going through this to help people start reconnecting as we had done
Yeah.
in years past.
Yeah, I think we've lost our connections. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really want to speak to vulnerability too, because I think
Hmm.
vulnerability sets you free, right?
Yeah.
When you can
Yeah.
say, this is what's happening to me, that is going to set you free.
Mm.
And you can't you can't keep that all in, right? And
Yeah.
we've lost our
Yeah. I think so.
connections. Like people we want people to see, and we don't let them see like the days that are bad and the days that are dark. I can remember when we were going through some really bad financial times, I can remember saying to my husband, I feel like I'm in a hole and I can't get out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't talk to my friends about that. I wouldn't talk
Yeah.
to my family about that, right? Like I didn't want them to know, but
Yeah.
that did me no good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Being stoic. I think it serves a purpose at times, but then there are other times when you're hurting and you need to reach out.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens is so many lives could have been saved if people had just talked to someone and they had strokes and aneurysms and
Yeah.
these other things because they didn't reach out and they were holding all that in, and that's energy. And it
Yeah.
was really destroying their bodies. So I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even like women's health. Like I had a friend
Yeah.
reach out to me about a month ago and she said, I need to talk to you about menopause and what you went through and it might be too much information. And I'm like, girl, that's what friends do. That's what we should be talking about, right? Like what's going on in our
Yeah.
lives that's not, it's not fun. Menopause is like not great.
Yeah. 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 And some people have more challenges than others.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so, so true. Well, I want to know too, how did you come into this wonderful knowledge about your intuitive gifts in terms of being a tarot
Um,
reader and intuitive reader? When did this come to you? Were you
well,
always aware of it as a child, or did it come to you later in life?
I was always aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this story, and I feel bad because I tell this story all the time, but and it's about my mother who's 92 and vibrant. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
And
wonderful.
but she's just from a different time. Like I have to realize that she's from a different time. She has different beliefs. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember always being intuitive, and I remember always taking on people's energy, like going to church where they do the altar calls and people come up and
Yeah.
that was so hard for me. I could not handle that. I did not like it. It was just too much energy for me. But
Mm-hmm.
what really struck me was when I was 13, my grandfather passed away. And
Oh,
we had a relationship, but we weren't like close, close. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a phone, they didn't have a TV. He kind of hung out with my brothers and not so much with me, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, I love the man. Um, and when he passed, about a few months later, I had a dream about him. And he came to me in a dream, and it's the most beautiful dream. I can't even describe how beautiful it was. It was a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful sunny day on the ocean, and my grandparents' home was on the ocean, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
was just beautiful. And he was sitting outside, like having all this beautiful, like this delectable food. And he told me, and he said, Jocelyn, I'm doing well. I'm so happy now, and I'm just love. And so I kind of kept that inside for a little while because I didn't know what to do with it. And then I said to my
Wow.
mother, I had a dream about granddad. And she said, don't tell a single soul because they'll think you're crazy. So I didn't even get to tell her the dream. Do you know what I mean? But she was in her own grief at that time, and I understand that now, having my own father be transitioned. I understand you're in your grief. You don't know what to say, and you don't know what to deal with. I totally understand that. But she told, so I kind of kept it inside for a long time. And then
Mm-hmm.
2018, my father passed, and I sort of had more feelings like this. Actually, if I go back to 2008, at a very young age of 53, um, I remember I knew she was going before it happened. I knew like all that day we were away at a family cottage, and all that day I talked about my sister. And I didn't really ever talk about my sister, but she had been ill for a long time. And we thought we were going to have long hospital stays, and we didn't. And so all these things started coming to me. So then 2020 came around and we were locked in our houses, and I was like, I need to do something. Like I need to develop these skills more. And so I took online courses, I got in like chat groups, I did all kinds of things to help me develop these. And I finally was able to understand that the intuitive side of that, right? And how to help people with that. And I just kind of grew up coming to last year where women come just to figure life out, really. We read tarot there. We we talk about life, we talk about all kinds of, just stuff going on, finding your passion. Like my kids left me and went to university this year. I'm an empty nester.
Oh,
Like, oh my gosh, now I'm stuck in the house with my husband all the time. What am I
yeah,
gonna do, right? And
yeah,
so
yeah,
finding myself that way, like
yeah,
just,
because it's a
you know,
void. Yeah.
you know, yes, I joined a bowling league. I go bowling on Tuesday morning. I've met other great women who are older than I am,
Hmm.
and that's fabulous. Do you know what I mean? Like just that
Hmm.
they're so active. And so that's the inspiration I want to bring to others. Like, and that's
Yeah.
how my gifts have developed. And the more I've developed them, the more they develop. I'm doing Akashic Records, and I'm not sure do you know what Akashic Records are?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm doing an Akashic Records mastermind business. I'm in a group, right? So we talk
Hmm.
about our business. And so I was meditating as part of this one day, and this name came to me, Shania, Shanya. And
Hmm.
I didn't know this name, but I was like, I got to remember this name. I got to remember this name. Then I was watching a podcast with someone else about like connecting with people that have transitioned and passed over, right? I
Hmm.
thought, oh, this is really interesting. I need to go buy this lady's book. I buy this lady's book, and what name is in that book? Shania,
Wow.
Shanya. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have these synchronicities all the
Yeah.
time, all the time.
Yeah. And when those happen, it lets you know that the beings of light from the other side are communicating. And they
Yeah.
communicate through numbers too.
Yeah.
When you see certain numbers appear repeatedly, they're getting your attention. They're like,
Well,
okay,
it
we've
is
been,
it's so easy to get signs from the
yeah, it is. It really is. And people now are becoming,
other side. And we talk
yeah,
about that
more,
in my group time. And I, yeah, like it's so easy. And it's not just me that has this. Everybody can develop this skill. Now, I do talk to, like, it's like everybody can learn to swim. Some people just
yeah,
doggy paddle around the pool. That's me. Love to float in the pool and just doggy paddle. Some people go to the Olympics,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But everybody can learn to swim. Everybody can learn to tune into their intuition and tune into their psychic abilities. We all have that. It's not just someone is more special. It's just someone's a little bit more in tune than you are,
yeah,
right?
I
And
agree.
yeah, it's fabulous. I talk about that all the time, and that's my goal is to get more women, especially. I'm actually thinking to dabble into a men's group, but I haven't quite figured the parameters of it yet because I have met a lot of men who are looking for a spiritual journey as well.
Hmm.
Um, but that's like what I want to tap into. I want them to tap into their superpower because women are intuitive.
Yeah,
You had your
definitely.
intuitive moment when the gray lives on the rise came down to you, right? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was a download for you.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was an amazing moment.
It was, it was. And I think the more we give space to that and recognition to that, the more the ancestors, the spirit beings, the angels can come over and give you more information. And
Yeah,
so when I get those synchronicities, I know that they're coming from the other side. I know that the ancestors are speaking to me, the angels are speaking to me, the enlightened beings, because I don't entertain
yeah.
light. I don't entertain low vibrational energies. So, and I don't dismiss it, but sometimes people hear voices, and
Mm,
I know of someone who used to hear voices, and she would always ask me, wait a minute, so what do you think it means? Because
yeah,
people try to understand it with linear thinking, and you
yes,
can't. It's a spiritual awakening, and they are attempting to connect with you, and you're blocking it
yeah.
because of whatever your beliefs are, your fear or whatever, you're blocking it. And,
Well,
and then they start doing things with the numbers. If you
mm,
dismiss the voices and seeing money on the ground after you've asked for money, you dismiss that. They're like, okay, let's give this person a series of numbers. and then
Well,
they see the
yeah. And,
synchronicity.
and your intuition can come to you in many different ways, right?
Yes.
Your friend heard voices, and sometimes I hear people talking in my head.
Yeah, I do too.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I feel the person, like I can feel
Yeah.
like a hug from the person, and then I'll hear
Yeah.
a voice in my head.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was smelling this hand cream,
Mm-hmm.
smelling it, and I could not figure out what
Mm-hmm.
I was smelling. And it was so strange, synchronicity, really. I went to a thinning of a veil, which happens in October. The veil is really thin, so you can get in touch with your ancestors and your angels and your guides much easier. Um, and the lady that was doing it, we did a meditation and I had a really hard time coming back from the meditation. I
Wow.
loved it. I didn't want to come back into my body. And the
Mm.
lady goes, "Okay, there is a blonde woman with you." And she pointed to me and I was like, "That's who that hand cream is. That's my sister. My sister loved her creams." Do you know what I mean? And
Wow.
she was there and she had been trying to get my attention so much so um a woman there said the woman I went with who's a new friend who knew my sister's story but really didn't know my sister's name, and I said
Mm-hmm.
my sister's name was Valerie, and she said every time I get in my car lately that song is playing, Valerie, on the radio. And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, she's trying to get a hold of me every which way she can." And
Yeah.
it can come to you in music, it can come
Yeah.
to you in a smell. Now the most rare one is if it comes to you in a taste. And I had a psychic medium once come up to me after doing some stuff, and she said, she was clearing my chakras and balancing me back. And she said, "I taste metal. Are you eating a lot of sugar right now? That doesn't serve your body." And I was like,
Wow.
"I am eating a lot of sugar. It's Halloween. I bought the treats. I hate them. I have to go buy the more treats," right? But yeah, it's just, and not everybody has the same experience. And I don't always have the same experience. Sometimes I
Right.
feel it in my gut. Sometimes you have
Right.
to learn where, or be guided to know where, which we do in my group. I'm actually have an Awakening Your Intuition masterclass coming up
Mm,
in May, where we're going to talk all these things and how to figure out where your intuition is. Because a lot
mm.
of people think they don't have intuition, or they don't
Yeah.
understand what it is,
Yeah.
or they're lost in it, right? And that's because we live in a linear logical world,
Mm-hmm.
right? Really, women need to go by their intuition. Do you ever hear somebody
True.
say a man's intuition?
No. No, no, but that's so true. And I think that men have it, but they shrug it off because they're
Yeah.
programmed to be linear and logical. So when
Yes, but
they get that gut feeling, they push it off like, oh, I don't have any facts to support this
yeah,
urge or this notion. So I'm just going to dismiss it. And that's not the
no,
best thing for them to do. But they dismiss it if it's not logical, if they haven't not had an experience with the person or the thing, they then say it's hearsay and they dismiss it. They
yeah.
in a lot of trouble because of that. Yeah.
We've all been in a room where somebody didn't sit right with us, right? We have all
Yes.
had that
Yes.
feeling, and that's our intuition. Or with
Yeah.
a situation that didn't sit right with us, and
Yeah.
that's our intuition, right? And we need to either act on it or learn to develop it. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and I think I like how you blend your like your study side and your professional side with your energetic side. And I think we need to do
Hmm.
that more with people, right?
Hmm.
And why is over 50 old? Why?
Right. Right.
To be
Right.
100, right?
Right. Right.
Why?
Right.
You're just starting your life. Your kids are grown. You have
Yes.
some freedom. You can figure out who you are,
Yes.
right? Like, why is that old? Like, I'm 57 and I don't feel 57, and I don't feel
Great. Wow.
like I'm old. You know what I mean? Like, I want to stay as active and learning as much as I can all the time.
But see, what we're doing now is we are redefining
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
because our parents and grandparents, when they got to their 50s, they looked the traditional
Yeah.
50. Nowadays, you can't tell who is what age
No.
because people are taking better care of themselves. And not that they're desiring to look 20 or 30 or 40. It's just like they're saying, don't pigeonhole me
Yeah.
because I don't fit the stereotype. But that is so true.
And
So just finish. I was going to
I
ask you a
think it's
question.
the desire to live better too, right?
Yes,
There's
yes,
70 and she bikes
yes.
10 kilometers a day, right? And
Mhm.
she's gray haired. I'm not. I don't have a gray hair. So I feel a little bit deceitful being here, gray eyes because I don't have gray hair.
That's
Um,
I love it. Yeah,
yeah, but she's gray haired and she thinks people think she's a little old lady. And I'm like, girl, if they see you huffing and puffing on your bike for 10K, that you're not a little old lady, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. But that's a stereotype that people
yeah.
have. Back in the day, 20, 30, 30 or 40 years ago, if you were in your 50s, you should have you should have those little black orthopedic shoes,
Yes.
have
Yeah.
your hair put up in a bun if it's long or cut, wear clothes that dated you, and you look far older than you were because people put you in a in a box and they tried to pigeonhole you. Now you can't tell who is what age because
Yeah.
women and men are saying, no, you're not going to stereotype me. I'm not going to become a stereotype for you. I'm going to live my life like it's golden because it is.
Yeah, yeah. So I love your mission. I fully
You.
support it. And yeah. And we can dress anywhere way we want. We can
Yes, yes, yes. And that's the thing. We don't need other people's permission.
no.
That's what makes them angry. And the irony of all of this is that people in their 50s are the ones, 50 and older are the ones that own the corporations where people who are in their 40s and 30s discriminate against us. That's the irony because
Yeah.
we're the major uh, owners of businesses. And then you put people who are younger in administrative roles like in HR or whatever, and they start discriminating against us. So, well, your boss is 50 plus. So why are you discriminating?
Yeah,
Because they have those stereotypes in their heads. And when you get to be 50, go over into the corner and just be quiet and sedentary. And that is not what should happen.
it, and yeah, and why are we putting that pressure on our 20 and 30 year
Yeah.
olds? Do you know what I mean? They're just developing their lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, let them develop their lives. Let them bring up their children. Let them do these things. You don't have to be a superstar in your 20s. You can be a superstar in your 70s, right? Let's
I
be that, right?
perfect when you gotten all those things off your plate. You're no longer a parent when you age. You're no longer having to deal with the same kinds of responsibilities. So you have more free available time to pour into a business and to help it
Yeah.
grow. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
I
agree.
love my business and I love sparking other passion in other women, right? To do things.
Yeah.
One of my woo-woo sisters is driving across
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people are thinking about having
Canada to meet other
road
businesswomen this
trips.
summer.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
So there, she's got her bicycle and she's hooked it to her car and she's going off across Canada and she's just going to grow her business that way. And
Hmm.
oh, like like we need to be, we're more than living in RV parks, right? And we need to tap into our spiritual side to let it guide us where we need to go, right?
Yes, yes, yes. When but the thing I think, Jocelyn, which is so interesting, and I was suffering from this too, being anal.
Yeah.
Being anal. I'm in recovery from being anal. So the thing is that you won't allow spirit to help you because you're taking control
Hmm.
and trying to steer the car or the boat. The spirit says, I got this. Just release your hands from the steering wheel. I'm in charge and I would take it to where it should go, and you'd be very pleased. But because when you're anal, you don't trust that. You always have to have
Yeah,
a hand
yeah,
doing it. You
yeah.
can't achieve and go to the next level.
It is so hard because it's scary, right? Because letting
Yeah.
go of that trust is
Yeah.
outside of your comfort zone. And I'm all about going outside my comfort zone, right? Like doing doing podcasts highly out of my comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
I'm all about that because that's where you grow in anything. That's where you're going to grow.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to um change your power. Let that
Mhm.
and trust. Trust is so hard because I think it's so easily taken from us.
Yes. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
so challenging. But see, that's the reason why people can come to you. I love
Yes.
this. They can come to you because when we're stuck in our heads and having these linear thoughts based on the external reality, then you can get caught up with the external reality.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, just get still and meditate, and it'll
Yes.
come to you. But coming to you when they're in the middle of the chaos and chaotic thinking, you are such a valuable resource
Yes.
because you can come to them and I mean, they can come to you and then say, okay, what are the tarot cards telling you
Yes.
about what's going on with me? So,
I really think the cards are a
mhm,
personal growth tool. They tell you where you need to grow. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
People think they tell the future. They don't. They guide your future. They can tell you
mhm,
where you need to grow. You can take that and you can go do what I say, or you can just keep living the life that you want, right?
mhm.
That's your free will. I don't dictate
Yeah,
what you need to do. I just advise what you need to do. I
yeah,
had a customer or a client, sorry, about 2 years ago who I could see really needed to do things for herself. She needed
mm,
to fill her own cup, right? And she was so
yeah,
busy taking care of the grandchildren and worrying about her children and she needed stuff for herself, but I couldn't get that through her head that
yeah,
so she thought it was a great reading. She was happy, but she went off and I knew that that wasn't going to happen. And I preach self-love, self-love, self-love. Like that is what I preach. People will come to me and they'll say, "Can you tell me if my ex-husband is really in love with his new girlfriend?" And I'm like, "Girl, I can't tell you that.
yeah,
I read you, number one. And
yeah.
number two, I want you to love yourself enough that you don't care about that anymore.
I repeat that. I love that.
Love yourself enough that you don't care about that anymore.
I love that.
Right?
I love
And when
that.
you
Yeah,
love yourself, you are going to put out this beautiful energy, right?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
beautiful energy is going to be so attractive, whether it's to like a partner or a mate or just friends, or not
yeah,
just friends, but friends or something else in your life, right?
yeah.
And I preach self-forgiveness. We talk
Oh, I love them.
self-care and we talk
Yeah,
love, but
yeah,
we need self-forgiveness. We need to
yeah,
forgive those mistakes we made because they put us on the path where we are today. They are
yeah,
our learning, right? And I think we need to think more about self-forgiveness. And
yeah.
yeah, like
I think
forgive.
that's so important because what we do, we're quick to forgive others and not
Yes.
forgive ourselves and start using words that demean us. That was stupid what you said. That was crazy what you did. And I'm like, okay, the little girl inside of you, the little boy inside of you is shrinking every time you say that. And give yourself grace. Give yourself
Yes.
grace.
Yes.
Give it to other people. Give yourself grace.
And you know how it is. We go to bed at night and we're thinking, we're like, oh my gosh, I said that to Susie, and now Susie's going to be mad. And Susie's gone to bed and she's thinking, oh my gosh, I said that. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're all worried about what we've said and we judge ourselves so harshly. So
We do.
let's stop doing that, right? And
Yes, we
let's
do.
figure out like why we do that. Like maybe we blurt things out that we shouldn't be blurting out. Well, why do we do that, right?
Mhm. Conditioning. A
Yeah,
lot of us, a lot of us have grown up with parents who did the best that they could, but
yeah,
they were very judgmental. So you always try to climb up that ladder to
yeah.
get their approval, which may not be forthcoming. And so then you take that as a personal affront or attack, and you're always being hypercritical with yourself and saying
Yeah.
you're basically parroting the words from your parents who didn't know any differently. And so what you're saying is so important in terms of having people do self-care and forgive themselves.
Yes. And
We will
forgive
forgive
your
others,
forgive
but
your
not
parents
forgive
too.
ourselves. I'm
Forgive
sorry?
forgive your parents too. Like I know
Yeah,
people
yeah,
have been in terrible situations,
yeah.
and I'm not demeaning that in any way, but I really feel people do with what the skills they have. And if they don't
Mm-hmm,
have those skills, like
mm-hmm.
that's where you are, right? And I'm sorry, but we need to move on from that, right? Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my mother telling me not to tell people about my dreams. That was her
yeah,
reality, right? At the time.
yeah.
And at the time, it really hurt me. And I thought, oh no, I'm crazy. Do you know what I mean? And,
Mm-hmm,
but now I realize it. She grew up in the 30s, right? In
mm,
the dirty 30s, the Depression.
yeah,
She had different, social cues than I did. She had different things
right.
happen. And to her, if you heard voices in your head, or you had dreams of dead people, that was a no-no, right? So I get
You
that now.
were, you
And
were crazy.
yeah, yeah, or the church wouldn't like that, or
Oh
do
no,
you
oh
know?
no, oh no. That was forbidden. You didn't talk
Yeah.
about things that were not sanctioned by the church, and you did not have powers that they didn't say that you had. So if they didn't give you the anointing and you still had these gifts, then it meant that you were possessed
Yes, and I
by low
think
vibration.
she was
Yeah,
probably worried what other people would think of me as well, right?
yeah.
But the interesting thing is, lately she's been having dreams because
Mm-hmm.
she told me she had a stroke about a year ago. And so she's gone from being extremely vibrant, driving her own car and doing all the things and having a very full social schedule to having to live in an assisted living home, right? She still has a very
Yeah,
vibrant life. But she can't drive her own car. She mourns that a lot. Uh,
yeah.
but she is
Because
now
that
having
represents
dreams.
freedom.
She goes,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, your grandparents keep coming to me in dreams and your sister. And I'm like, oh, that's very interesting, Mom. That's like, tell me more about that, right? And so, yeah, so I think she's having some sort of awakening herself.
Yeah,
Um, she will never give up her church and her religion, and that's fine. That's what soothes her. And if your church and your religion
exactly.
soothes you, then that's fine too. But this is
Exactly.
what soothes me, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And you work hard not to condemn or
Yeah,
judge others because they
yeah,
don't think like you, because you were where they are now, you were there.
yeah. What at
Uh,
one time.
yeah, you were there also. Maybe
Somebody posted somebody posted once on Facebook something about judgmental people. And
mhm.
I commented, I try not to judge judgmental people because judging them, I'm being judgmental, right? And I
Mhm.
try to
Yeah,
look through other people's lenses, right? Like,
yeah.
why are they there? Like, why are they this way?
Hmm.
Right? And when you do that, the world becomes a little bit a softer place. Now, sometimes it's really hard. And I'm not perfect. I have bad days too, right? Like we have had a year here in my home, and I'm growing a business besides having this year. My mother had a stroke. My father-in-law has been very ill all year, in and out of the hospital. And
Oh,
um, I was telling you earlier, we lost our fur baby last week. My daughter
yeah.
had a bad car accident. My son had a car.
Oh,
It's just been like one thing after another. And then our car broke down. And my husband was like, it's going to cost so much thousands of dollars to fix. And I was like, I hate cars and I hate this life and I hate what's going on. And my husband goes, you can't say that. You can't put that out to the universe. And I like took my glasses off and I threw them down and I said, I just need a 5-minute pity party. And then I'll put on my big girl panties and I'll figure it all out. And sometimes Like
But
I'm
right there in the moment, I have to release these emotions. That's right. Yeah.
trying to, but I'm going to tell you, in the past, I would have cried. I would have
Yeah.
cried for weeks. I would have
Yeah.
been wrecked for weeks. But now I can realize, let me just get these emotions out. Let me feel cranky for a minute and then
Exactly.
take a breath, do some, meditating, or sometimes just do some raging.
Yes.
Um, I
Yes.
yelled at the moon the other night. I was out yelling at the full moon because I was so mad about things. But like, just get those emotions out, but don't stay stuck in that spot, right? Because I
That's the,
could
yes.
have very easily stayed stuck in the pity party. But
Yes.
that's not going to serve me,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You
I
know?
agree 100%, Jocelyn. That's the thing. I tell people to allow your feelings to feel to surface because it's just energy in motion. Don't suppress it because when you
Yeah.
suppress it, it's going to turn on the body. You're going to have
Yeah.
strokes, heart attacks, or brain aneurysms or something because you're suppressing that energy. But
Yes.
then don't pull up a couch in a day bed and sleep there.
No.
Pull up a couch and say, well, I feel comfortable with anger. I'm going to stay
Yeah.
here for a while. I'm going to stay here. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
allow it to come. Yeah.
And I said this to my husband the other day because he is having a really hard time with the loss of our little dog. And he's,
Yeah.
I have to stop crying. And I said, no, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
let those tears out when you need to. It's okay. And so every time he cries,
Yes.
I don't tell him to stop. I just rub his back. He just needs to
Yes.
let that out. He goes, but you've stopped crying. But I think the difference is I have spoken about it a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've had to explain, I missed a few nights in the coven where I do live readings. I had to bring other people in. So I've had to explain that. I'm not as present on some social media. So I've had to, like, I put a little video out saying why I do that. I go to yoga
Mm,
and I talk to my yoga friends. Like, I've had to explain it where he
yeah.
hasn't had to do that. Right. And I think that's
Yeah.
and everybody's journey is different too, right? Like everybody grieves in a different way, and he is just
Yeah.
really sad.
Yeah.
Our kids come home from university this week, so I'm hoping that will help him a little bit. But,
Yeah.
you know, let those tears fall if you have to, right? Let them fall. Salt
That
water
is so
is so
true.
cleansing, tears, the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 And it's going to pass. But if you
Yeah.
press it down and suppress it, it's going to affect you. So Justin, in the few minutes that we have left, I want to do two things. First, I would love for you to give people your contact information and let them know that they don't have to reside in Canada. They can have a reading
No.
with you virtually, the type of readings that you do. And so give us all that information and spell out everything because,
Okay.
we're
So
50 plus, we're
yes,
bikers, but
I
sometimes we're a
know.
little
I know.
slow,
It's
a
why
little
I changed
slow.
I used to be Jocelyn Firth Wellness, and I'm like, nobody can spell that, right? Like nobody's going to be ever be able to spell Jocelyn. So I did change that to Ravenheart Tarot. So that is my website, www.raven, RAVENHEART, so you can book a reading in there with me. I have some freebies in there if you want to grow your intuition. There's a freebie in there for that. There's a freebie in there to figure out what kind of what tarot suit you are, like what reflects your personality most. There is there's the coven. You can join the coven in there.
Mm.
And it's the Woo Woo Sisterhood, which is a Facebook group, but you really have to go join on my website. And so what we do in there is twice a week I read live.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so I read live. Sometimes I read one card readings for people. Sometimes I do like just like a full moon reading or something
Mm,
that's going on. If I felt not too long ago that everybody was having chaotic moments, so I did a reading to clear the chaos. I give
mm,
tips on the full moon what to do. I give tips on when what to do. That's where I usually start posting about any courses that I have coming up.
mm,
May 7th, I'm starting Intro to Tarot. That is on my website, www.ravenhearttarot.com. Yeah, so we have so much fun in the Woo 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 Sisterhood, and it's $9 a month. Seriously, it's
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, it's
$9 a
wonderful.
month to be a member. Actually, there's actually there's actually 3 levels of membership. You can try us out for a week free. You can come
Mm-hmm.
in at $9, and then there's the Oracle Circle, which you get some live Zooms with me throughout the month.
Oh,
And you
okay.
get all the courses that I offer, like all the little webinars, you get those free.
So,
So that's $18 a month. So that's
okay.
nothing, right? Nothing.
Wonderful.
To get some inspiration and some time. But if you just want to follow me, Jocelyn Firth, Jocelyn Firth. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very entertaining on the internet. Or you can just follow me on all socials, and I'm ravenhearttarot.com, like Ravenheart Tarot on almost all my socials, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Those are the 3 I use most often. Yeah, I would love to have some new blood come in and spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds really wonderful. It sounds really wonderful. So you have a live uh,
Yeah.
presentation that you do, and then
I
you have,
do. Yeah, and I do Facebook Lives Tuesday and Thursday night. Now,
oh,
where
okay.
I'm in Nova Scotia, I am an hour ahead of Eastern. So my time zone is terrible to appeal to people across the United States. So I do the lives at 9 p.m. my
Mhm.
time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern, right? So that's not too bad.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
then it's like 5 p.m. on the West Coast. So that's
Right. So people will have to adjust to the
what
time
I'm
zone.
trying to like bring everybody through. Yeah, it's on the different time
Yeah.
zones. But if I start getting people from like Australia and stuff, I'll start doing some in the daytime for you too. Um, because I think you want to be part of it. And if you don't catch me live, you can often the replay is there for like 30 days. You can catch the replay and yeah.
That is so, so wonderful. You're an absolute wonderful resource for people. So in the last few minutes, what parting words would you like to leave with this wonderful community?
Well, thank you so much. I was so excited to do this because I really feel like gray lives are on the rise. Do you know what I mean? I
Yes.
see my in-laws, and they at 50, when I met my husband, they were like giving up. They have given up. Do you know what I mean? I'm too old for that. I'm too old for this. No, no, take that out of your vocabulary. Let's
Mm-hmm.
all rise together. I
Yes.
think women and people over 50 need to start a revolution. We have
Yeah.
the experience, we have the know-how, and we need to band together and join and become a movement. And I love the movement you're
Exactly.
creating. Like, I just love it. I don't ever want to tell myself I'm too old for something.
Exactly. And never have people gaslight you to tell
Yeah.
you you're too old or you shouldn't do this and whatever. You know what your limitations are. And
Yes.
just because you're moving at a different energetic level does not mean that you should be put out to pasture. And people tend to do that. They tend to sometimes talk to you in demeaning tones because they think you don't get it. A lot of times when people are 50 plus, we don't respond because if we respond, worse may come out than we may regret. It's not that we don't get
Exactly.
it. It's
We're
not that we don't
invisible.
get it.
Do you
We are
ever feel
seasoned enough to sit back and say, I'm not going to respond to this at this time because it may not be the most elevated way in which I would like to respond. So
yes.
please, if people who are younger, listen, people who are older, we're very strategic. We've learned rather than popping off like some young people do, they just pop off at the mouth. We've learned not to do that because you cannot pull back the words. Once they're out in the universe, it's just like it's just like
Putting it out
you
on
know,
internet.
yeah, once it's gone, it's gone. You cannot retract it. You know, you can apologize for it, but it's out there. So we are sitting back and just taking our time is in just deciding, do I need to put my energy into this? Or do I
Yeah.
need to just ignore it and let this person deal with the karma of his or her words? Because if you put words out there that are not kind, they're coming back to you. So you don't even have to do anything because the universe is going to give you what you put out. And it's going to come
Exactly.
when you least expect it. So
Ex- Exactly. And we're not invisible. That's why we wear the bright colors.
yes, Yes, we're not invisible. Exactly. And I love the fact that we don't allow our age now to dictate our hairstyle, our clothing, and whatever. I've seen some people who are 50 plus. I said they're more fashionable than the people who are younger. The ones who are younger, who wear just sweats all the time.
Yeah.
They have no personality in the way in which they dress, or they over sexualize themselves by showing
Yes.
too much. So,
Yes.
yeah, whereas people are 50, classic, elegant. All of my friends who are in the age group are very classy dressers. And and younger people, younger men give you attention because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for the shapeless woman with baggy clothes or woman who shows too much. They're not looking for that. So, and we're very comfortable in, if you're a female, with our femininity, and the men are very comfortable with their masculinity. I love to see people at 50 plus. I say, you go, girl. You go, guy.
Yes. Oh, right. Yeah. Be comfortable in your own skin. Be
Yes,
comfortable. Yes.
yes, yes. So, Jocelyn, I am so happy that you gave us this wonderful opportunity to know about how to empower ourselves by using our intuition and how we can find out more objectively by contacting you, being part of your Facebook group, contacting you for one-on-one sessions, because sometimes you need to hear a voice other than your voice telling you things, confirming things for you, or bringing clarity to some issues that you may not have received clarity about. I'm so happy. Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much. I've enjoyed being here with you. You're so wise. I love it. I love your mission. It's fabulous. It's just fabulous.
well, thank you, beloved. I call everyone beloved because you are. You are. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And people in our listening audience, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do so today, whatever time you're looking at this, day, night, midday, whatever, on the weekends, whatever. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and you will get the updated episodes by subscribing, and check the like button. This is a global movement. We're growing fast. And come in and join us. Join us, join us. We have a lot of things that are upcoming that would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. So know that we love you guys. Thank you for dropping by. Tell your friends about it, your family members. They do not have to be 50 to watch. They do have to be 50 plus to be a guest host, but not to watch. So have them join it and go to our store. Gray Lives on the Rise on the Oyende Enterprises.com website is right there. Okay. So until next time, beloveds, be well, be vibrant, be seasoned, and know that we love you, and have a great rest of the day or whatever time you're watching this in terms of evening, morning, midday. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Sense, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Sense is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.